Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session, How Digital Twin Technology Can Help Homes and Buildings Perform Better. I'm Ashley Turan-Ord, your host for today's event, in partnership with Smart Energy International and KNX Association. I would like to introduce you to our session moderator, Jesus Arias. Jesus is a business developer with an engineering background, assisting organizations to develop technological solutions based on the KNX standard. Jesus has been involved with KNX since 2007, when he started a technical department about home and building automation at Eurocontrol. Ever since, he has been working in technical and management positions at hardware manufacturers and system integration companies, as well as delivering KNX training across 4 continents. Jesus, without any further ado, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Ashley. It is my absolute pleasure being again here with you. I would like to introduce our guest speaker today, Marek Kozlak. He is the CEO of SimLab, a startup from Poland. Marek and I met some years ago when he approached me to share with me his vision of our industry, smart homes and buildings. Immediately, I knew he had something big, not only because of his clear vision and his understanding of the current situation, but because of his amazing enthusiasm. We spent many hours talking that day, I remember, and ever since we have been walking this path together. In my case, representing the KNX Association, which develops the KNX specifications, an international standard for home and building automation, and Marek as a CEO of SimLab. Eventually, SimLab joined our new startup incubator, and they have been our flagship startup. Recently, we have announced a first solution based on the new specifications or the new generation of our specifications called KNX IoT, which is a cooperation between SimLab and Schneider Electric. Every time we meet, last time was at ISE in Barcelona a couple of weeks ago. We talked for hours, so we'll try to keep this conversation within the given limits. So before we engage in a conversation, I would like to share a very short presentation to give context to the audience, which will be the fuel, the food for thought for our conversation. So the topic today is digital twin. I mentioned that we were a couple of weeks ago at ISE trade show, Integrated Systems Europe, and also co-exhibiting with Internet of Things Solutions World Congress. And it was remarkable that digital twin was the hottest topic found in the exhibition area. So we believe that this conversation can bring value to the audience. Okay, so our agenda for today, a bit of background, where the digital twin is coming from, how it applies to homes and buildings, and lastly, a technology enabler to make it happen. So let's first look at the background, where this digital twin idea comes from. So the next slide, please. Our target, or the target in the digital twin concept, is to achieve real-time data and simulation. Digital twin comes from the industry, where a representation of a machine or a process is represented in a digital format, now that digitalization is so trendy. The goal is to feed with real-time data the model, so that simulation or a simulation can be performed. This opens up many possibilities, like predictive maintenance or comparing the performance with the design, among other benefits. But there is a specific idiosyncrasy that we can see in the next slide, that it belongs to the industry environment. To start with, those solutions in the industry are closed systems, which are produced by a single manufacturer. Secondly, they are designed in the product development stage. So this means it's part of the product scope of the product that arrives to the factory. Okay, so understanding this, it's important to go to the digital twin, but in homes and buildings. Okay, so in this slide, the target, what is the target in our case? Well, the goal is fundamentally the same for homes and buildings. We would like to feed with real-time data a digital twin model so that further actions can be performed. Actually, green building certifications or some building regulations require to forecast the energy performance of the building to be built. So it makes sense to compare the forecast with the actual performance of the building. This is just one of the many applications of a digital twin in the home and building industry. But in the next slide, we can see the idiosyncrasy, which is different to the industry itself. What are these differences compared to the industry approach? Well, the leading technologies for homes and buildings are normally open systems, which allow different vendors to work together in the same installation. This is a real handicap compared to the industry approach, where it's normally a single vendor platform. Also, the platform that requires the digital twin is created in the system integration stage, not in the product development of each of the devices or components. Therefore, specific challenges arise. So, how can technology help to overcome these issues? Okay, so in the next slide, yes, the foundation for digital twin in homes and buildings. Interoperability is required so that the different devices can share the data with the digital twin and enable a smooth communication between devices and between the installation and the digital twin. The integration is also required between the different aspects that are needed to build the digital twin, such as the user interface, space coordinates, and controls. And also very important, human readable data becomes key, which is supported by a layer of semantics. It creates an abstraction layer to enable the cooperation of the different roles and stakeholders, from product developers to operations and maintenance teams. So we can see the differences of the digital twin between the buildings, homes and buildings, and the one that comes from the industry. And that's the introduction I wanted to share with our audience. Now I would like to bring Marek to the conversation. Hello, Marek. Thanks a lot for accepting this invitation.
Hello, Jesus. It's again a pleasure to see you, and I am waiting forward to our discussion.
Yeah, so we talk very often. I'm very happy today we can share this with an audience. I have a few questions here that I believe you can share your experience, since you have developed a digital twin solutions for homes and buildings. So definitely, I want to hear your thoughts. First of all, what is, in your opinion, the main application of the digital twin concept in the home and building automation industry?
Well, before I go straight to the answer, I would like to make a small introduction, because if we're talking about the digitalization, and I can talk hours about it, but we are right now living in a digital decade nowadays. Digitalization is almost everywhere. This is a buzzword nowadays, but it happens that building and construction industry is the least digitized sector of the industry. I guess that only hunting and agriculture is having the lower digitalization index than the building and industry. So it happens that in building and home industry, only 3% of the facilities have some kind of the digital documentation. And even the professionals from the EAC, they still use traditional documentation. So that means is that they put everything on a paper, they print blueprints, and this is how they operate. Of course, there's a buzzword, another one, BIM, but that requires so much experience and the knowledge and the engineering knowledge that it's just a small group of the experts that are talking that language. So on the other hand, then you have another buzzwords like Industry 4.0, and this is like a industry reply to digitalization, which is all about the data. And digital twin model is being created in that kind of the industry for the commercial factories and the big plants long before actual building construction even starts. So
correct.
And why is that? It's because of the two main reasons. Because on the design phase and on the planning phase, you want to better understand the facility. You want to know much more before you will spend money on it. So if we talk about the money, cost reduction and precise planning is the key factor. So all of this about the digital twin in the industry, which you have mentioned at the beginning, is about the cost optimization and much better performance of the building. So for example, you can imagine the factory assembly line. It's not happening just like that. Everything is being planned upfront in the computer software on a digital tool, in the digital toolkits on the computer screen, simulated, checked, and then it's implemented into the real life.
But so do you think that the facility owner or the home owner does not bother with the digitalization of its property?
Well, it's not exactly true, because yes, they do, but that consider and is related mostly to the expensive and complex buildings like skyscrapers, airports, hospitals. They do have the money, so they spend a lot of those resources to create such systems. But the problem is that each of them is handcrafted for the exact building. And
for one, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and that costs a lot of money, right? So what we are thinking of and what is our vision, our goal is to provide the same toolkits, but for the residential sector. So nowadays, there's no more excuse. You have a LiDAR devices on your cell phone, in your pocket, in your pants. So you are using the technology which actually can help you with this. And so what's the excuse? So people do digitize, and this is my observation from the last years, that people start to realize the benefits of the digitalization after something has happened. So for example, there was a fire in a building or flooding of the apartment, and they do digitize when they need to react instead of preventing and simulate. They do need to solve the problems, and they are reaching for the digitalization toolkits.
Yep, I agree. It's only when a problem arises, then you think of the possibilities you could have obviously done if you had your digital twin. But with your experience in developing solutions for this vertical, what is the main stumbling block? Besides what you have said already, what is the main stumbling block?
Well, I think that the biggest issue is here that small social awareness of digital possibilities. People have their cell phones, but they don't know that they have an option right now to go for the digital twin. And almost every person in the Western world right now has a smartphone, but people still store their documents on a paper. They keep invoices in drawers in their own desks, and they cannot find them. So they do not digitize, as I said, beforehand, always when something is happening. Even making a picture of the loss in the facility, of the, a small disaster or destruction, or they use a picture, right? So they do digitize, but after something is happening. So that's the issue, because they do not think upfront. It's not the Industry 4.0 approach where you are planning. They try to digitize, but they don't have this awareness that if you will prevent, then you will save money.
Well, that's one side of the coin from the customer perspective, but actually from the software development, like is your case, what you can highlight as a stumbling block?
Well, I think that right now, nowadays, today, and in the next couple of months, weeks, years, the technology is not an issue anymore. The software programming, leave it to the experts. Now the toolkits are on the market, and the technology that we are using from our technology partner Matterport, it's self-explanatory. You can digitize your facility, your apartment, your office with your cell phone, or with very, very cheap devices or services if you don't want to do it yourself, and it's cost effective for everybody. So technology is not a problem anymore. There are solutions on the market. We have selected our own best technology from Matterport from Silicon Valley, and it's not an excuse anymore. It's in your cell phone.
That's very nice. Very nice feedback. Absolutely. What stakeholder is the most interested in the digital twin? Hardware manufacturers, system integrators, the owner, the homeowner, or the building owner? Who is actually pulling in the market if there is someone who is actually can be highlighted as driving the change?
Ask yourself a question: who is paying for everything? The facility owner. He pays the checks. Facility manager, to the installer, to everybody. So does he has any toolkits right now nowadays, except the Excel documents or some other like software? So I think that the biggest beneficiary of this technology is always facility owner, because first of all, he needs to pay the final bill for whatever is happening in the building, and second, this is the first time ever we give them the access to a digital solution, creating something that we are considered as the complete home operating system. So the first time they have access to the digital toolkits, having no need for any technical knowledge. So I think that they are number one. Second, of course, facility managers. And of course, they have already some systems which are existing, but as we said before, they are expensive and crafted for that individual building, that individual space. And we want to make the change. We want them to be flexible and work on much bigger scale for each facility. Tenants, the people who are living in the building, and everybody who is using the building. Well, think how digital twin will allow them to understand space much better and save time. Sometimes even cost. So think about, if you're talking about the tenants and people who are using the building, like extreme case study, fire department or the security forces, they need to act in the building. They need to do their job, help someone, save someone. How they can do with digital documentation? Is this actually still on? Is it actual? Is it updated or not? Was there a renovation happening? With digital twin, in our case study and the technology that we are providing with the Matterport help, it's always as built. So digital twin can be one coming from the BIM model, which is designed. This is a great case study when we have a new building, but the building is aging. So how to understand the building as built documentation? This is solving much problems of understanding the space. And even going forward, I said tenants and everybody who are using the building, facility owners, facility managers, but even the simple solutions that banks or insurance companies can use to simulate, for example, the cost and this as-built documentation, checking out the actual status of the facility before, after loss, or for the insurance, calculations of the building values. So there's multiple different stakeholders associated with the building that actually can benefit from it. So the digital twin nowadays becomes like a communication platform through different verticals and through different stakeholders around the same facility.
It makes life easier for the service providers too. What about the hardware suppliers and the actual system integrators?
If you're talking about the KNX system integrators and any kind of integrators of the system in the building, well, they are the most important parts of all of this actually vision about the digital twin for the industry, because they are the front line for the end users, for the homeowners, for the facility managers. They are there, the technical knowledge, introducing the technology to them. So even if there is like a small awareness of the society, they are the ones being our evangelists, presenting what's new and what's happening. So in my opinion, if you're talking about the KNX, it's trustful, reliable ecosystem of many brands and devices. So the installators and the hardware providers, they know it and they know how to make ecosystem work. But we are right now talking about the digital twin are going beyond that. We are talking about like a full compatibility, not between the electric signals, but about all of the data which is associated with the building. That does not have to be digital data. That can be documents, paper documents, which are digitized and stored in exact position where you are looking and expecting this information to find. So that gives a new opportunity for homeowners, but also for integrators to build even better and more advanced and smart system for any facility. So they are the front lines, in my opinion, and they are supposed to be evangelists for that new change which is coming.
So far, what you've said about the benefits, it is clear. I think at this moment, the ones who pay for it don't know exactly how the investment is recovered. What do you think?
Well, so let's try to point them out. In my opinion, how to recover the cost and how this comes back to this break-even point of investing in such a digital twin. First of all is that you get access to the fast and easy information and data related to the facility, and that saves time. That's definitely safe. There was a lot of experiments showing how the digital twin solves the issue according to the paper documentation or like a list of the items. So fast and easy access to all data related to the building. And that, of course, saves time, but also that saves mistake costs, which happen in the facility during the renovation or some service actions and so on. So fast and easy access will save you the costs. But also, please think about the digital twin as this, I like the buzzword container, which means that all important files, informations are in one place, controlled without one environment of digital twin model on every device without any installation. So one product, one actually place, one stop for all of the applications connected in one interface for the user. And nowadays, I think that this data is the key, and having an exact data, in my opinion, is the best investment.
It's almost like a thermostat that gives you comfort, but in the back end is saving you the money.
Exactly. That actually, I like that.
Okay. So now, how do the homes and the buildings actually benefit from the digital twin?
Well, okay, and that's another tricky question because it's so obvious that how to explain it. But I would compare it to this very beautiful phrase saying that one image is worth thousands of words. So now if you're gonna extrapolate it to the 3D space, what benefits it will bring you? Massive benefits, right? So, but that's also just naming and phrases and so on. But I like, one image is worth thousands of words. So digital twin is like explosion of those information. But going to the details, actually think about real sensors data which you collect, but in exact XYZ location. So for example, imagine all of those motion sensors, cameras, and all of this devices located on a paper description, or like maybe like a drop-down list, or like on a dashboard items. Here they get much more better meaning if they are located in exact 3D location with the XYZ position allocated. You know how this, for example, motion sensor corresponds with another one behind the corner of the building. You understand more. So this is the best benefit, right, from digital twin. You understand much more better, and there's no way to make mistakes because everything is visual.
Some real life examples that maybe you can bring up?
Well, I love to compare always this digital twin documentation to a car, right? You have your car, you go to the service for the daily maintenance, for fixing some things, and you have a service book of your car where each modification is being noted, where each service procedure is being documented.
Yeah.
So
excellent example.
You get this for your facility. You get a full timeline of the changes in the of the actions, of the problems, of solving the issues, which you can recover, and the building gets much more trustful, in my opinion. You know, it's much more clear in understanding, and facility assets associated with the building, are they located, how they are being moved through the time of the building and the life cycle, manuals, warranty cards, receipts for each and every assets are connected to the virtual copy. In my opinion, you know, the car and the service book for the car, we don't have same documentation for the buildings right now. So this is the best case study as I would imagine digital twin to the whole life building.
It's interesting how you say that when you buy a second-hand car, you want to see all the documents, right? But when you buy a second-hand house or building, you basically have nothing.
You trust a seller that he's telling the truth, and you have no options to check him out instead of removing the carton gypsum and see how the walls are looking behind the position of the building.
Yes, that's a great example, Marek. Okay, we talked a lot about digital twin, the benefits, how the owners benefit from it, how the different stakeholders are involved. Now, about your company, your solution, what were the main aspects you took into consideration for your own design?
Well, as you see, they were very emotional about what you are talking about, because my guys, my team, we are all gadget and we are geeks, right? We love technology, so having a home automation system, I'm sorry, but it makes us, I don't want to say laugh, but because it's a wrong saying, but we do not accept what we get. We know 3D, we know gaming, we know what's possible on the cell phones, and we simply don't accept that. You know, in my house, I have over 100 native sensors, IoT devices, and that does not work as one ecosystem, because I have my washing machine, how to connect the washing machine and know what's the status of the current process. That does not work. So we had a vision to build one system where everything can be connected, working together, and be available for everybody who has access to any house. So right now, I have one ecosystem of, I don't want to say 100 because it's almost 200 devices working together, but also I keep all of my documents in place. I don't lose my receipts anymore because I know they are connected to the device that I just bought it in my digital twin model. And I get notification when I need to clean my air conditioner, for example, system, or change filters in that system. I get reminder when the truck will pick up the garbage from my front yard, and where is this timing? You know, I'm sorry, I don't remember everything, but that system is all operating system which thinks for me, and that's what I love. So we had this concept of creating one complex home operating system, which would be a single source of truth for everything associated with my building.
So basically, it comes from need. That's great. I think
I wanted to have a software, right?
I think, like you said, that if one image is worth 1,000 words, this 3D representation is worth. There's no way to calculate it. So I think it's now a great time to share a couple of videos with the audience so they can see how this looks in reality. So we can watch the videos now. Marek, this is absolutely stunning. I think these two videos reflect very well what we've been discussing. And I cannot imagine how many hours are behind this development. So congratulations again. I have a few more questions for you. In the presentation that I utilize to open or to give context to our discussion, I talk about the industry or Industry 4.0. It seems as if the simulation and the maintenance are the most critical factors. So how important is the actual interaction with the real installation through the digital twin as it is possible with your solution?
Well, if we are coming back to something called Industry 4.0, we need to understand that Industry 4.0 is all about the cost reduction and planning and optimization. So they prefer to prevent instead of fixing. And this is the main issue. There is no prevention in residential sector because people are always saving the money. Oh, I don't need this insurance policy that will save me some cost in the future. So they prefer to prevent instead of fixing. And because commercial facilities needs to earn money, and the fixing disasters or like a collapse of something through the not keeping up on the maintenance, they can be very costly. And simulation is to optimize and provide best possible performance of the building. And so it works for commercial buildings, big facilities, and digital factories. This should also work for smaller buildings. Now we have toolkits to do that. So this is the time, start using the technology, start digitizing where we work, live, where we spend our time.
Well, for those who are also interested in knowing a bit more what is behind the scenes and the whole technology setup, we made a beautiful case study with your help, Marek, as well with the help of Schneider Electric. We made a case study where we put all this information together as well, which is very comprehensive. As the user interface and the user experience seems critical for the success of the digital twin, and we saw in your videos that looks stunning, yet a lot must go into the back end, into the ugly cabinets and those parts that people normally are not used to, like energy performance simulations, etc. But with the other new trends coming in on top of this, on top of these installations, like for instance, artificial intelligence, how do you think this is affecting the home and building automation and the digital twin?
Well, in our approach and what you could see on those videos, yes, they are nice, they are dynamic, they are showing visual quality. We think that user experience is the key, because if that will be difficult or if people will not like it, they will not use it. So if you want people to use our software, they need to feel comfortable with it. It needs to be friendly environment. So there was like 2 movies shown. One of them were something that we call our digital service book, similar to your car, where we are documenting each status of the building through the aging of the building or like a construction process or renovation of the particular wing of the hospital or airport or even the floor in the facility. So that was a little bit more engineering on the movie, but again, this engineering was translated into the visuals, so a lot of stakeholders with different competences can use a visual data instead of the PDFs, instead of the the models, IFC data, which really requires engineering knowledge. So even if that was looking a little bit cumbersome on the movie, that's really easy because it's visual communication language. And the second one, well, this is where I drive out my 190 IoT devices in my home. That's all the fun, So again, if you like it, you want to use it. If that's visually attractive, you will be reaching for that. But as you said, those big things that home automation companies are giving to the customer is intelligence and this high-tech technology which is behind it. So if we are talking about the artificial intelligence, AI intelligence and machine learning, yes, nowadays we need to use those, and those technologies are helping you on a daily basis, making your life more comfortable. But the thing is that you don't want to see them. You want to have a nice access, nice gateway to the software, which is a visual and gives you the data, but with all of this high-tech stuff working for you. And this is actually what is the motto for the smart home industry. You know, that the most smart system is the one that you don't see, is working for you. And this is the same with software. So it's working for you in the back end, just showing you the nice visualization images of as-built facility at the end. And this is exactly what we think. You know, we want to keep all of the tech and buzzwords like AI, machine learning, high tech behind the beautiful framework, which is front end to our customers.
Now that digital twin is taking off, thanks to solutions like yours and technology, interoperable technology like KNX, what trends you can forecast for the years to come?
Well, today we have pretty cool software to be used with the KNX home-enabled installations, but we have a vision, like 2-3 years of our development into the future, because definitely we are convinced that with a Matterport scanning technology, with any other digitalization like a LiDAR, a LiDAR possibilities through even the iPhones that are right now on the market, and it's a hot subject, we know the digital twin will enter each and every house, because cell phones are a mass digitalization toolkits which are available in the hands of the people, homeowners and the facility occupants. So that will go to each of the house in the very, very close future. And that's also connected very much with the expanse of the web and cloud solutions for much wider audience. You know, today we are moving towards the cloud with everything, even documents of the serious components are stored in the cloud. You store your pictures in the cloud, you store your security data from the cameras in the cloud. So the clouds are becoming more and more trustful. So that will go to the cloud. Actually, even our solution, the Simon, we don't install, you know, it's just going to the website, log into your account, and it's a cloud available software. So that will be more and more popular. And all of this AI and machine learning, this will play bigger and bigger role in everybody's life, but that will be working in the background of those systems. You will not see it, but it will definitely help your life, making much more comfortable and much more convenient. But what also is very interesting for us is that our vision of this one stop, one place where it's this container of the information. So there is no such tendency yet, because as I said, the awareness of the society is quite small, but that will be becoming more and more important in our life very, very soon. There are services like Dropbox and similar where you store your data. So we want this home operating system to be the same place where you store multiple file formats, because it can be pictures from your holidays connected to your, I don't know, TV or somewhere, or it can be services like Netflix, entertainment from Spotify connected in one single place. Because, well, yeah, in digital model, which is on your cell phone, click the TV, so it will bring you the control of all of those possibilities from the cloud, like YouTube, Netflix, HBO, or even Spotify to listen around your place. So that is coming visible, that people want to have a one-stop, and let's try to build that standard together where we can provide it, because I'm more than sure that this is requirements from the not even industry, from the homeowners. And even for the homeowners, of course, I forgot about one of the most important one, you know, one-stop solution. So e-commerce, people are working from home, they are staying more and more time at their own homes due to the COVID as well, but people are changing the tendencies of how they are using the facility, even for the shopping, for digital shopping through your computer, right? Tablets. You see that the growth of that is going year by year very drastically. So why not to do it from your home operating system? Why not to check what's new from the accessories or maybe from the furniture that you want to play? Just go to the brand that you like, check out the model, place it in your house, and with one click, make an order and purchase that with delivery. This is what you do actually with ordering food for your meals.
Yes.
That will be coming much more serious stuff like buying equipment and having a digital twin model of your apartment, having a digital copy of a product. That's an easy fit to make everything together. So I think that in a very, very close future, the goal of Tendency will be one operating system for all building related subjects, not even documents, but subjects, to do everything from one stop. And this is how we see it. And all of this vast technology like AI, machine learning will only make it better.
There is one trend which is obviously related to energy, carbon footprint, how buildings or houses become more efficient, more sustainable. There's one question from the audience that is related to this. Maybe you can give us also some feedback. Can you talk about how SimLab Solutions is related to the commercial residential in terms of building emissions, renewable energy usage, carbon footprint, energy efficiency, water usage, etc., real-time use, how this can be utilized for this specific trend in the market?
Well, and we are still a startup, as you introduced ourselves and myself and our technology. So we don't have everything yet, and in our system, answer for everything yet. So definitely the history and analytics data is not what we can provide today, but definitely I think that if you can visualize this data, you will understand it better. So this is what we will be also building in the next couple of months, because today we operate on today's status of the facility and comparing this to the historical data. So the machine learning algorithms can learn from it. This is what's going to be happening. So, and that's happening. Even if you don't have a visualization software, a lot of hardware providers are doing this. But now imagine what digital twin can give you. You are walking as in a game through the 3D environment of your facility and looking around on the walls, on the electronic devices, you see actual usage of that particular device that makes context in that moment. So it's not like a value that you get, oh, you saved today like $15 per day.
More impact in awareness,
Standing in a digital model of on your cell phone, actually, or even looking through the AR vision of AR camera, AR mode, which are also working on it. That's another tip for the friends listening to our speech. You actually see that that particular device is using how much watts or pounds or cents a minute or an hour. So that brings awareness of the consumers, which make the society much more aware of spending, saving, environmental issues. So I think that that will be a huge help, how this digital twin can bring that things. And the historical data, machine learning will be just the additional points to it. Because for me, this is how I can save how much money per day. But if I'm seeing that actually my TV looking at this is using so much money and the next device about this, well, I can act, I can react because I understand the data. So I can some actions that is helping me to save environment, but also my own costs, my own money that I can spend for something much better than bills.
Well, you already gave us a lot of advantages, why to use it, why to opt for the solution, why the home and building market should move into this direction. But how would you convince, this is our last question, how would you convince the decision makers to adopt digital twin technology?
I cannot convince anybody. You just need to try it. If you try it, you will know if you like it. Spend a few minutes with this and give it a chance. So you will see that it's easy, intuitive, it's fun of your daily activities, which you just were ignoring from time to time, as we're saying, preventing or fixing at the end. So that's an environment which will grow and grow and grow. But today it's a visualization platform that allows communication. So if you will not try it, you will not know. And just talking about this marketing phrases, that's one thing. But the technology is there to set up the system that we are actually offering with a digital twin. That's maybe 1 hour of any kind of the home, one family home type of the facility. So just try it. It's really fun. I'm coming from the times where the games were a big change on the market. I think that the gaming technology is going through many of the industries, and now it's time to start using the benefits of the 3D graphics on a daily basis.
Well, I believe what you say, so I will definitely become your client as well this year, as I promised. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Marek. You have such a great knowledge and you speak with such enthusiasm that I believe the audience really got a nice understanding of the digital twin topic. So from my side, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you. And I believe we will meet many more times and we will discuss about this topic many more times in the future.
Thank you very much. I can summarize it with one phrase saying that I'm having it, I'm using it, and I'm very happy of all of the benefits it gives to me. And most of all, it's fun. And it's fun for me and my family as well. So start using it. Digital twin is now available, as I said, through your cell phone as the first step. Try our solutions. Go for it.
Thank you.
Marek, thank you both for today's session and sharing your insights with us. It really has been a fantastic 60 minutes. And on behalf of the KNX Association and Smart Energy International, we want to thank our audience for joining and remind you that a recording of today's webinar will be available on demand on the Smart Energy International website. Until we meet again, please stay safe and keep well.
Thanks.